Well, I guess this would be easier if I was smarter about things and went with the given the system a bit more and actually wrote down my thoughts before just talking, but here I am just talking again. I guess I'm gonna title this one Ain't Shit Speaking the Truth Part 3. Well, actually, yeah, I don't know, Part 3, whatever, doesn't really matter. Um, Not very many of you have got the chance to see Ain't Shit Speaking the Truth Part 1 or 2. I think one of them has like 25 views on YouTube. Yeah, they're on YouTube and Facebook at the moment. I'm about to be taking them down in just a few moments because they are upsetting my mother and I don't want to do that. They basically say a lot of stuff that's already public knowledge and common knowledge. Just basically the same stuff that everyone on Occupy Wall Street was protesting about. Well, not really. I didn't really get into the Wall Street thing. I was more focused on pharmaceuticals, and the monetary system itself, um, and the fact that I believe that the welfare system, the disability system are basically the way I see them anyway, kind of a hidden form of communism right here in our own country. It's kind of just if you've ever been on welfare, which I have, and they really don't give you much motivation to get off of it. It's you can have as much money as you could make at a minimum wage job for free, easily just have it handed to you, or you can go get basically what the only thing that's available is a minimum wage job, and you can work for that same amount of money. So what do people do? They stay on the welfare system because it's easier. It's basically, in my eyes, the government saying, here, eat our crumbs, and don't bother us. Don't actually try to make something of yourself. Just eat these crumbs and make it easy for us to stay rich and powerful. I know that not everyone in the government is greedy like that, but I know there's a lot of good people. I truly believe that everyone has more goodness in them than bad. And I believe, I don't even remember exactly what I was saying on those videos, but I believe that a lot of people are just afraid to be good, if you will. It's it's much easier to succumb to the greed and the negativity in the world than it is to do what I know. Honestly, yeah, those Ain't Shit Speaking the Truth Part 1 and 2 were pretty embarrassing. Bits of them were potentially self-incriminating. Yeah, I was crying about the people at UC Davis, but it's there's a lot of goodness out there. There's a lot of people standing up or sitting down for goodness, and it takes a lot of guts. It'd be much easier to just go along with the bullshit. Just take that welfare check, whatever, and keep your mouth shut. But for some reason, I just can't allow myself to do that. I'm not saying that I'm going to do anything wrong or harmful. That's the last thing that I would ever do. But I aspire to be like those students at UC Davis who just spoke up and sat there and were peaceful protesters. And we need more people like that. We really do. There, we act like we're so far past and so much better than and so much above and beyond the 1940s and the 1960s, where, you know, Nazi Germany, where segregation in America, these situations were not that long ago. There's still people very much feeling the effects of these situations, and do I wish that everyone could just get over it and all just get along? Yeah, but the people who were hurt by these situations are still feeling that hurt, rightfully so. And yeah, like I said, I guess I should collect my thoughts before I just start talking, but woulda, coulda, shoulda. A phrase that I like to say these days. I've been speaking out against powerful people, and a lot of people have been trying and succeeding at making me feel scared for doing that. It's a big part of the reason for my silly haircut now. I also, I just like to have fun with things. I like looking silly. I like the way my stupid haircut looks. It's fun for me. I like to make jokes out of things. I could look at the situation that I'm in, that we're all in, that, we've all in this country more than most countries in the world, apparently. Pretty much all the food we eat, for the most part, has poison in it. High fructose corn syrup. My perspective, call me crazy, but I consider that poison. I just watched a video the other day talking about high fructose corn syrup. 8 times more addictive than heroin or cocaine. And, we all eat it all the time. Well, most of us do anyway. And that, that's pretty disgusting. It's pretty disgusting that people allow themselves to be driven by greed to feed that to each other, to feed that to their families, to feed that to strangers, to whoever. It's pretty disgusting and pretty disturbing. But the point is that the videos that I had previously posted, yeah, they don't really say anything that's not public knowledge already, that's not already out there for everyone to know about. But it definitely gave a personal look at it. Those videos captured my mother, having some outbursts, and parts of it where I allowed myself to get caught up and yelled back a bit. I believe, honestly, maybe not even on those videos, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But the point is, I get, I was trying to show people, to actually show people an in-depth look at what things like SSRIs can do to someone. And things like, being addicted to high fructose corn syrup and the other who knows how many poisonous chemicals that are in our food. Like Splenda, for example. It's another thing that, probably a lot of people know, um, and I was eating Splenda for all the stuff with Splenda in it. I was like, oh, that's a good thing to use. And then a few weeks later, a few months later, whatever it is, you find out, oh, um, Splenda was invented as a food product accidentally. They were actually trying to make a alternative to chlorine, I believe it was. And somehow uh, someone figured out that it tasted sweet, and we're using it as sweetener now instead. Um, yeah, a chlorine alternative doesn't exactly sound like something that we should be ingesting. But anyway, those videos being up, as much as I don't care about the fact that they have me crying and being pretty, looking pretty embarrassingly, and saying things that are potentially self-incriminating. I don't care for myself. I felt like it was important enough to post those videos, but they are upsetting my mother, so in a few moments I will be taking them down and replacing them with this one. Um, and yeah, back with the whole hair situation. Um, I want my voice to be heard, and that's really all I want these days. Because I think I have some important stuff to say, and I want to be heard. Um, and so I guess I like to make the best of things. The situation, as I was saying, the situation that we're all in, the food that we're all eating, whatever. You know, I can cry about it. Sure, I could get mad about it. Sure, but I'd rather fucking laugh about it. That's the way I see things. You can see things however you want to. Each of us have equal perspective. We're all equal. Whether, you know, this is not meant to be taken disrespectfully. I'm sure a lot of people are going to take this disrespectfully, and that's your choice. That's your perspective. But, we're all equal. I was homeless recently. Some homeless bum. Oh, look at me, I'm so much better now because I'm at my mother's house. But, um, you know, some homeless bum on the street is equal to the Pope, is equal to the president. Is equal to some fucking guy in jail. I guess in many senses that's not true, but in many senses it is. In the sense that's most important to me, it is. Um, it is true. We are all people, and we should all be, I think, well, shoulda, coulda, woulda, but I think we all are the most important person in our own lives. Maybe, I've never had a kid or anything, but from what I hear a lot of people say, like my mother, when you have a kid, your kid becomes the most important person in your life. But I think when it comes down to it, we're really all the most important people in our own lives. And it's all about perspective, though. I take a lot of cues from. Well, there's a lot of stuff that I learned. I want to say on my own, but learned while self-tripping anyway. That like coincide so amazingly with what I learned from my favorite book, a book that I basically see as my Bible, called Be Here Now. I really feel like everyone should check that book out. It's inspired many people across the world to become priests, nuns, monks, rabbis, preachers, pastors, whatever. It's a very inspirational book, and it's very positive. And I'm sure I know people who have taken that book taking things from that book negatively. But, that's their perspective, that's their choice. And, yeah, that's why I refer to myself as Ain't Shit. That's my nickname, if you will. But it's all about perspective, and it's all about using that perspective at the right times, if you will. I think of, we're all the most important person in the world, right? But look at a picture of planet Earth from the farthest satellite out in space. We all ain't shit. It's pretty fucking small, this planet. And, I feel like when, when we're feeling happy, when we're feeling joy, when we got a smile on our face, that's the time to be like, yeah, I'm the most important person in the world. And when we're feeling sad, when we're, allowing ourselves to succumb to the negativity, I feel like it's very helpful to be able to remind ourselves, like, you know what, we ain't shit. Our problems ain't shit. Let's fucking build a bridge and get the fuck over it. Whatever, however you want to put it. But, and I think, woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? But far too often, people do the opposite of that. It seems to be much easier for people to let go of their happiness and succumb to negativity. And I do it all the time myself. The commercials for the SPCA come on, and I could be in the greatest mood in the world, and I see all those hurt animals, and, it makes me want to cry, or whatever. But, just tell myself it ain't shit. Let's laugh at it for now. Well, we gotta work hard and play hard. Let's have fun with our lives, but let's also, when we go to work, let's start, from, I don't know everything, and, a lot of stuff is just hearsay, and this and that. I don't watch the news that much because it stresses me out. But from what I understand, from what I've been told, like the Salvation Army, for instance, and I'm sure it's true, that, most of the money that they collect does not actually go to helping people. It just goes to putting more profit in the pockets of the owners of the company and the CEOs and whatever. So, instead of succumbing to that, just like, oh yeah, I'll just work for Salvation Army, I'll just sit here and ring a fucking bell all day and collect money in the name of collecting money for poor people when it's really not gonna go to poor people. Say, fucking, you know what, go out for your fucking self, stand there and fucking ring a bell and collect money. Even if you gotta be poor, and fuck it, collect that fucking money. And, use what you need and then share some with some other poor people. Anyway, back to the hair thing. I feel like, standing out is good for me these days, but I have a lot of reasons for that, which I'm not going to get into all of them on this video. But the fact is, when I go out looking like this, even though it's funny to me and I like looking silly and whatever, I'm noticing people on the street being afraid of me. Like, oh, that guy must be crazy. Let's not walk too close to him or whatever. And that's not what I want to do. I don't want to scare people. So and the haircut is also upsetting my mother too. So for a big part of me really doesn't want to cut my hair at all, because I do have similar beliefs to what the Rastas believe about energy in our body and chakras and what have you, that if our body has to focus less on growing hair, because we already have a nice full beard and head of hair or whatever. I guess I don't quite have a full beard or head of hair, but then you know, that energy can be focused towards more important things like our crown chakra, if you will. But once again, I'm going to put others before myself. I guess not, because I do believe in Be Here Now. I believe in the oneness of the universe. So it also, you know, one of the big things about that book, it can be a bit confusing to people. It can be a bit confusing to me sometimes, but you know, I feel like I get it pretty good. But everything's a duality, and then it's not, because it's all part of one universe. Yeah, it's pretty complicated right there, but it's what I believe. So I guess by putting others first, I am putting myself first. So even though I like my silly haircut, I'm gonna cut it. And even though I don't like to cut my hair, I'm gonna cut my hair. Whatever. Alright. Sure, there's gonna be some people out there who just take this as a lie or a trick or whatever, but the fact is, all you'll get from me is peace and love. So, may peace and love be with you all.